Hey everyone, Oz here with Merchant Cash Advanced Success Blueprint. I have one of my members, Lawrence, here for, I guess, take two or volume number two. We did the first interview. I interviewed him about maybe a month and a half ago. Is that how long has it been, Lawrence?
Yeah, it's probably been about a month or a month and a half. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
say.
about a month and a half, and he's been having great progress. And he told us his story. If you haven't watched that, I suggest you go back and check it out so you get to know him a little more. And I heard that he's been killing it, so I wanted to bring him on, and you guys can see the progress of where this business can go in a really short amount of time in our lifespan when you think about it. But I'm not gonna steal his thunder. I want him to kind of go through what's been happening. And honestly, I don't know a lot of the stuff that has been going through. So I'm as curious as you guys are as to what's happening. Hey, Lawrence, great to have you, buddy, one more time, and thanks for your time.
It's great to be back. I was appreciative to see an email from you guys. Just kind of wanted to catch up with me and see how I'm doing. Appreciated that you wanted to stay in touch and follow up and make sure things are going well. That's phenomenal on your behalf to do that to the people that trust you with what you're offering. And it was a great thing to find this email because it was sent into my personal email, which I rarely have time to look at. And I was happy to see that you guys wanted to reconnect, and I'm thrilled that we made the time to do it today.
Oh yeah, I feel like we're connected, and after what you've been through and what you accomplished, I always want to hear back from people like yourself because you have everything it takes to succeed, and it's always my pleasure to see you guys do better and better. So let's jump right into it. So last time you and I we did the interview, you had a period in your life which put you in a lot of stress, right? Financially, emotionally, all around. Then you came in, and at the time you were like 3 weeks into the program, and you were telling me that you already funded a bunch of deals and your commission was over 14,000. But you were saying that after that, you have a bunch of stuff in the pipeline, and it could be a lot more than that. So we left it at that point. So if you can pick up where we left off and kind of walk us through what's been happening since then, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Wow. Since that time, a lot has changed. I've stayed the course and kind of continued to, follow the blueprint of, marketing and reaching out and creating a pipeline. Networking is a key thing as well that I learned through your program as far as, what you ultimately want to get out of the program itself. And if you're a person that wants to, as you cited on your documentation and your videos, if you want to work 15 to 20 hours a week, you can do some pretty good things in this industry. But if you want to take it to a certain level where you want to scale, you want to build something bigger, you want to ultimately expand and grow, there's quite a bit that you have in store for you to do that. And you have to be ready to take on that challenge because it certainly is a challenge. So where I found myself was since we spoke, I wrapped up the month. I was definitely north of 20,000 in revenue for that month.
Nice.
When we had spoken, I think we were between 12, 14,000, somewhere in that range, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Basically, it was a one-man show. I had a landing page. I wanted to start a website. I wanted to create a bigger presence and sort of grow and scale this thing. But ultimately, I realized that it takes a lot of different things. And as in my position, I was really good at being a technician. So I was really good at the cold calling and the cultivating the relationship part. But if you're going to start a company and you intend for it to be more than a one-man show and you actually want to scale, you have to wear 10, 12, 15 hats. You have to be a marketing guy. You have to be an entrepreneur. You have to be great technically, and then you have to have 15 other things that you're ready to take care of and manage your expenses and hire people. And that's what I embarked on since we last spoke because I felt very confident. I felt very happy, but I still was missing something. I still wanted more. I wanted to take the company and make it something larger. And, as luck would have it, I went ahead and I worked with a bunch of the lending companies that you had on your the PDF that you would put out there, and then you put out a second one. And on the second one, I met a guy through another company. Long story short, we partnered up. I brought him on as a partner of the company, and he brought on 3 individuals that were under him. And, they're not even here. They're not in New York. They're located, one's in Georgia, one's in Baton Rouge, we're spread across the country. And here we are scaling a company. And now we have an official website. We offer multiple products. We do email marketing campaigns. We've got like a whole analytics system and stuff like that. And we've built a substantial revenue base, and we've got clients coming in towards us using the capture forms on our site and our email marketing responses, get them kind of inbound lead, as far as like an inbound lead generation, which it's been phenomenal. It's been amazing.
Wow. So just to recap, so it looks like a lot has happened, as you mentioned, right? So when we had the conversation, I think, yeah, you're around 14,000, and I know you told me it's going to be over 20, and you actually did finish with more than 20. But since then, and this happens with a bunch of my students, either you will make the decision to stay as a one person shop and keep it at 20, 25K, which a lot of people are okay with, or you can take the further entrepreneurial route and establish a corporation, an actual lending institution. And it looks like that's what the route that you've taken. You've kind of built further partnerships with the lenders and people connected to that. And you guys establish a company right now. So you're generating a ton of leads through inbound from email marketing and things like that. And you have actually more team members. It's not just you anymore, right?
Yeah. So we've got, my partner, who his specialty was actually the opposite of merchant cash advance and business funding, was more towards the real estate side. So he was a perfect complement to what I was missing.
Yeah.
He had a big background as well on how to kind of structure the business. He's 58 years old. And then we kind of brought in a team of folks that he's familiar with that he's brought on to our staff. And then we have our screen sharing. We have our weekly training or bi-weekly training on cold calling and things of that nature. So now we're training a team under us on basically how to do this business and how to cultivate new relationships with clients, whether it be cold calling or marketing. And now we're building something. It's bigger than just kind of like me doing my own thing here, doing it, getting in and out with my landing page, and doing a couple deals here and there. It's like we're creating something tangible and real, and it's a whole system, I would say, to kind of bring in people that have no sales experience prior, these three individuals, but our goal is to get them to each make $100,000 within the first year working, and we want to create a system and develop it and kind of track the progress and document everything and quiz them along the way to kind of say, hey, we have a system proven here where you come into this with the right frame of mind. We can show you a method. Here it is, so to speak, with this, and these are our prototypical first three guinea pigs, but they're eager, they're ready, and if we can do it the way we think we will, we can kind of show incoming applicants, incoming employees or prospective employees, like, hey, here's a blueprint we can make you $100,000 if you follow this system, and we're in the process of documenting that live now. You know what I mean? So it's been great.
That's amazing. It's funny that it's not necessary or required that they need to have the skills to be the salesperson. As long as they have the willpower to succeed at that level, or they're willing to learn, they're coachable. You can take anyone pretty much and mold it into something, and as long as they have the confidence. And it looks like that's what you guys have been doing, because many companies, that merchant cash advance companies, they're always looking for the best salesperson to hire. And my response to them, why don't you create one? Why don't you hire someone who can be that, instead of, because as you know, when you hire a salesperson who comes from traditional teachings of other companies, they have a ton of unlearning to do. Because they automatically assume, hey, Lawrence, I know it better than you do, man. I've been doing this. Then there's this barrier to learning, mental block. But where you just take would you agree that's what's happening?
My partner and I have had this conversation. I mean, specifically when we were starting to conduct that bringing in process, it was strictly, hey, if they have prior experience in the MCA world, maybe they can be a referral or an affiliate that kind of says, hey, we need some more approvals, some better lenders. We'll just send you some files and we'll keep that sort of distance. But as far as bringing them in to train and bringing them in to kind of cultivate them as our company's Woodbury Wealth Enterprises. So as a member of Woodbury Wealth Enterprises and under that umbrella, it must be a brand new, and we would prefer no sales experience, because you just nailed it. It's so much unlearning, so many habits, and especially, I'm probably sure you know it just as well as I do. There's an ego behind sales, thing behind sales. So if I'm going to go work for someone, I'm going to go in there and they're going to try to teach me how to do something, but I think I'm already the best at it.
Yeah.
It's going to be this, and it's not going to work out. So yes, exactly right. There's so much undoing and unlearning and reversing when you have somebody who you bring in who has that prior experience or has a heavy background in sales. So what we actually opt to do is show you, hey, we don't care if you're a waiter, we don't care if you're a teacher, Uber driver, we don't care what you're doing. If you have this, you could follow this blueprint, and a lot of it we can provide to you, but most of it most of it hinges on what you are made of. If you can do it, you can make $100,000. You can succeed no matter what your background is. You're not going to be a product of that. We can prove it. You know what I mean? That's kind of where we're going.
Absolutely. And this kind of answers, thank you for bringing this up. This kind of answers a question that I get all the time. People ask, yeah, it looks good, but I've never been in sales before. It looks good, but I don't want to be the salesperson. I don't want to be telemarketing, cold calling. Honestly, I prefer those people over the other ones. Because as long as they have a strong enough why, they're going to be open to learning a proven system. And I think you guys are doing a great job emphasizing more on the system than just bringing in people who already know about it. I think that's the problem this industry has right now. All the MCA owners complain that their best salesperson takes off. And my response to it, how much time have you invested in that person? Probably not. You just stole them from someone else, and someone else will steal them from you. This is how it works. So what goes around comes around type of thing. So that's awesome. I'm glad we covered that. So let's talk about the specifics of what's been happening. So when you were by yourself, you were funding a couple of profitable deals and still making a good living. Right now with the team, so what's been happening? How many deals are you guys funding? And if you can kind of break that down, that would be awesome.
Sure. So we have a centralized like CRM system now. We partnered up with HubSpot, which
nice.
Definitely worth the expense. It was a solid expense back when I was beginning, and I was like, oh, do I want to be paying this every month by myself? And now that we have a team, you look at now we're going through the expenses. It's all worthwhile, and HubSpot allows us to kind of centralize all our pipeline, our deal, everything, every deal, all our marketing templates, and all these campaigns. Everything's kind of centralized. So just before we jumped on, we've got right now 14, actively live deals. So they're in the stage of, we consider them active or live deals, as in they're either A, been submitted to lenders, or B, they're submitted to lenders for an approval or decline decision. And then secondly, if we have an approval on the table, they're also considered live and active. So as of right now, we've got, 14 deals in that stage. We've got this month alone, we funded probably well over 12 or 13 deals. And we've partnered up with some really great new partners that, we hadn't before. And the commissions, that I don't know what it is, like things going a certain way. I thought the commissions were great prior with some of our other funding partners. We've got partners now that are letting us really, up the ante. And we're sitting here with a $25,000 funding approval. And you look at a commission of $750, it's, nearly 15%, or it is 15%. Yeah. It was, or something along those lines on the commission. It just shows you that if you just, they're out there. I mean, you don't have to go get $1 million cash advance or $1 million, business, $25,000 loan for nearly $4,000 in your pocket. And these companies are now, they're sending out commission ACHs to us the same time they're sending out funding. So I'll be telling my, or we'll be telling our clients like, hey, listen, congratulations. We know that they're going to fund you now. We just got the confirmation. They're counting on their money coming in, and the next morning we have ours, and it's stacked quick. So we're funding definitely over 10 units a month over the last 2 months since we spoke. We're definitely funding towards probably $400,000 if you accumulate those numbers up. And then we've got a substantial amount in the pipeline now, and more just continuing to come through. And we've kind of automated a lot of the process, because if we didn't, I'm the back office, I'm the back end of this thing. So the engine behind it, and getting 7 files at once where I have to sort through them and make sure the documentation is right, it can drive you nuts. So we kind of created an automated touch, and we're getting better at that to make life a lot easier for most of the processing to happen automatically. And the last piece of it is, hey, everything's organized, everything's already situated automatically. I'll just say, okay, I know this funding company or this lender works best with this type of client. I'll just kind of go that route. So it saves.
All right, so let me break it down for those who might not be from the industry, so they might not be familiar with what the number. To me, those are fantastic numbers, especially pulling 15 points. And I know what it is. Like what it is the leverage. You have more leverage now, and the lenders do see that you can bring a ton of deals on the table. So of course they're gonna. It's the game kind of reverses itself. They start chasing you and offer to pay you more, because you know how to read a file before you submit it. You're not gonna send them bullshit files, right? So when you send something, they know that it's gonna get an offer on the table. So you're saying when I met you, it was a couple of deals. Now it is 14 deals or so, and we're only like a little more than half of the month. So we still have like another 8 to 10 days to the month, and the funding amount is what, close to $500,000 by now?
Absolutely. And the pipeline live now. I mean, we're sitting. We have 14 that are live in the pipeline. I want to say, as far as how many we funded this month, we're definitely north of 10 already. And then, maybe of all those combined, you have a couple of declines for either they're over leveraged, they have balances, or something they don't tell me, which is like, oh, by the way, yes, he has defaulted in the merchant cash advance industry before, which I don't know until I get,
Yeah, so that's gonna happen.
Exactly.
So then, so you have 14 live, and again, you're gonna keep adding more every single day. It's not like you're gonna stop at this point, right? So it can be a month with 20, 25 funded deals. Who knows? We still have a ton of time. And so you might be in a position to break $1 million in funding. I'm sure that's the goal at this point, right?
That's right. But you want to keep going. You want to keep reaching for it. We're never going to be satisfied. My guys here, so my partner and the team below him that he's brought on here, they believe in me. They believe in my drive, and they've been along for the ride as well. Just as you guys have been along for the ride, and they know my beginning. I've been very open with them. They know every single step along the way and who I am. I've been very transparent with them, and I'll continue to do that. So they believe in me. And ultimately, we've got a process and a system here that we're building. We're not looking to scale, I can't hire 100,000 people tomorrow because that's going to it's going to really suffer. I've learned kind of how to see it now, and it's been a lot of long nights, but ultimately we've I've been able to grow this thing into a successful individual business to now a expanding every single day kind of scaling system that's actually controlled. I have the right people on board. They believe in me. They see the results. They see the funding. They see the approvals. They see it happening. And ultimately, we all have a vision and a goal for the down the line kind of thing. And we kind of work towards it as a team every few days on our calls. And we kind of have goals set, revenue goals individually, and things like that. And we set the bar, and we continue to raise that bar. So it's been great.
Nice. I mean, I have no doubt that you're gonna kill it. You already are, because as you can see, once I first released the first video, you've been an inspiration to many people. I've been on YouTube. People are commenting and they're reaching out our support. And actually, it was last week I did my first mastermind in New York City with 10 individuals from the Blueprint. You probably haven't heard of that because your email didn't go through, I believe. And in that mastermind, someone was like, "Where's Lawrence? Like, do you know what's happening?" I'm like, I honestly don't. It sucks on my end, so I got to find out where this dude is, and we got to stay connected. That's I came back from that mastermind, and I told my team, figure out a way to find this guy.
I gave them my updated email. That way they can reach me directly, and my phone number as well to reach me, because I never use personal email anymore. I don't even have time to check it.
Yeah, I mean, you've built up a company right now, so yeah, but I didn't know that. So I'm glad we got the email. Of course, we're gonna stay connected moving forward. But this has been amazing, man. So, and this month and next month, and of course we're at the end of the year, you guys are gonna keep growing. So what's the end goal when you guys fast forward a year? I'm sure you guys talk about this all the time. Where are you guys taking this company to?
We've discussed quite a few things. I over time, was not very confident before I started this whole thing, because I was kind of on the outs, and I just wanted to get to a place where I can get some sort of stability. I didn't want financial freedom for I could go on vacations every week or any month. But I was
you could have had that if you could have just stayed by yourself and still made 25 grand and be a happy dude.
Right. And when I got to that point where I saw that, okay, wait a minute, I can do this on my own. Then I met the right person. Now we have a partnership. Now we have an idea and a vision. They say the sky's the limit. That's a cliche, right? But here's my ultimate end goal for this company. And the end goal doesn't mean the company's sold or the assets are sold, because I know of entrepreneurs or people who create companies and great companies, and then their goal is to just ultimately sell it and the assets and start something new. This is something that I've cultivated not just as an entrepreneurial vision. It was more so just out of such a hard time in my life. I was done, mentally, physically, just about ready to give up. I was lucky enough, and I preached to my team. I was lucky enough to find your program on July 4th. I mean, it was only a few months ago when I really reached out to you and we spoke, that introduction phone call. And to see what we've done, I'm fairly confident, and I kind of came to a decision on what I ultimately want us to do. And because of my background, I'm not allowed to participate in the stock industry anymore. I had a lot of bad luck, a lot of bad things happened to me in that industry. So I was really good to my clients. My clients still call me till this day to ask for advice, because I didn't just make them money. I made them a lot of money. A lot of guys, I did my research, put the work in, and I was kind of treated a certain way because I did well without there being anything to say, hey, you were a fraud or you did this wrong. So ultimately I had it taken away from me. So now my ultimate comeback is to get Woodbury Wealth Enterprises publicly traded. So I want to be on MSNBC one day. I want to sit down. I want to have Woodbury Wealth Enterprises Incorporated being listed on the New York Stock Exchange. I know the requirements, the revenue requirements are steep, but we've got people that are driven, and the person at the top is the most driven of all to make that happen. So I
Absolutely.
also think that's the we're going to get to. It might not be tomorrow. It's not going to be anytime soon, but now going to be 31 next month. I've got a lot of time, so we're gonna lay it down. And we're going to get there.
And you're only 31. Yeah, that's fantastic, man. And yeah, you know it's not going to happen tomorrow, but it starts from the top, and you're that guy, and you're inspiring the entire team and setting that goal up so far out. Like I always mention, like you got to have 3 goals, right? The bare minimum, the objective where you want to go, and the stretch. Stretch should be something like out there, and you're like, I have no idea how am I gonna get there, but I know I want.
People look at you and they're like, "What? You gotta be crazy for that."
Yeah, so it looks like your guys already structured. You have your live deals, and you know your bare minimum, your objective, and your stretch. That's why I wanted to ask. I thought you were gonna say something like, "We want to start syndication," but yours was way beyond that.
We have that in mind short term. You know, we got an idea of how to structure it to where, as we're teaching our new employees and our new agents kind of the roles here as a school of some sort to kind of learn this, when we feel like they get to a qualified position or a certain position where they have regular consistent production, they're knowledgeable on all our products and everything like that, we want to let them be able to participate in syndication. You know, we've already established the account for that. We've already established a separate company for funding, a funding company I didn't mention, but we've established Woodbury Wealth Funding for the sole purpose of syndication, because that's ultimately a game changer when it comes to like how you can invest your money. And if you look at what you earn in a savings account these days, or what I was making guys in the stock market was 7 or 8%, 8-9% in a year, and they wanted to give me a child, one of their firstborn, but in this, you can syndicate a deal and you can earn 40, 50% of your money in a 3-month span on a payback. Yeah. It's astronomical, but yeah, that is a goal of ours short term to participate, to have our individual reps participate in it with us. We've already begun that syndication. That's
amazing, man. Yeah, for those who might not know what syndication is, pretty much you get to a level in your business that you start funding partially your own deals. So instead of making 10, 15 points on a deal, you can be making 3-4 times more than that and determine your own rate. You get to that place, and the ROI you're getting, I mean, I don't know if there's anything else that's going to pay you that much at that level. Like I mean, you're from the stock exchange. Like, you used to be a stockbroker, and I'm a real estate investor, so I don't know any other way of making that much money other than syndication.
No, and a lot of the funding companies that we have as lenders, they're also willing to front you the syndication commission.
Yeah, they are.
Your broker commission. So you act as a broker, getting the deal to that funding company, but then if you say I want to kick in $10,000, they're going to say, okay, well, we're going to charge this particular merchant or customer, 49% on this money. So we'll give you $4,900 upfront as well. So your real risk of default is there if the guy defaults, but you're minimal compared to what it would be. You're not risking $10,000 if you implement $10,000. You're really risking maybe half of that. But then you also got the broker commission upfront, could be 10%. So it all kind of gets to you. You might be sitting there putting up 10% and taking right away a deposit into your bank account of $7,000 and letting $3,000 ride as they pay you back on that money. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, those are really advanced level strategies, and I'm going to definitely be teaching it in my next mastermind to those who are at certain levels, and definitely would love to have you in that one too.
My email.
If maybe not as a student, but maybe as a guest at that point, that you can definitely share your experience. You've been contributing quite a bit, and a lot of people are inspired. And I'm glad that we got a chance to get connected again. I'd love to stop by and check out your company one day and meet you guys, the entire team in person.
You're more than welcome. You have my email, you have my contact again. And
I do.
Now, we can stay in touch. If you're in New York or you're in the neighborhood or anything like that, just reach out. I'll always make the time to, because I appreciate what you guys have done. I'll never forget my start and how come, my company that looks up to me now, why we're all here, why we're all gathered, why we have a meeting today. We have a 6 o'clock meeting tonight just to go over the HubSpot tutorials and kind of, I presented them with a script on cold calling, one that I would, classify as like a basic outline. And like all of this is responsible because of you and your merchant cash events blueprint. And I had no doubts coming into your program, just listening to you talk. That's why I reached out to you, because I can hear my ears trained. I mean, I've spoken to guys on the phone. I know someone who's dishonest or someone who I can trust, and I believed in your company. I believed in you and kind of put all I could with you, and it's paid off to this. And it's only been July, so now we're August, September, October, with 3 months and change, and it's just astronomical.
It's mind-boggling.
I just appreciate everything that you guys have given me. And again, Woodbury Wealth Enterprises is my company, but we wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you and your company. So
Thank you.
I'll always be willing to speak to your legitimacy and your just who you are as a person and what you've done. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. It's very humbling to hear that from you. And I remember that at that point when we had the conversation, I made it very uncomfortable for you. But that was for a reason, because we're not who we are when we're stressed out too much, right? We don't make the right decisions usually. It's like a downward spiral. And sometimes it takes another person to shake that person up and kind of remind them who they are, because you had it in you. I don't sell anyone. I just remind them who they are and what they are capable of. Some people see it, some people don't see it. You saw it immediately. You jumped on it. You already had it. I didn't do much on that end. It just, from that point on, it was just, I guess you had to hit the bottom to kind of skyrocket to the top, right?
You can see very clearly when you're at the bottom. When you're at the top, sometimes when I was doing really well, I didn't see things a certain way, and that's how come it all happened at once to me. And so on my way, sort of trying to find and grasp at straws to find a way, coming across your YouTube video on July 4th, I scheduled a consultation, or I scheduled a call to get the link for it or whatever. And you actually called me on July 4th, the actual holiday, which I didn't expect you. And I was like, I got a schedule here for 2:00 on July 4th. Whatever, it's just an automatic thing. It's okay if he doesn't call, and you did. And, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget it. I'll always be, I'll always owe you a debt of gratitude for that in your company. And I'll always be willing to attest to it, attend anything you have here in New York, and again, stay in constant contact and update you as we go, just to show you that, if it wasn't for you and your company, my company wouldn't be the company that's going to eventually be publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange.
Oh, amazing to hear that. Thanks so much, bud. It's very humbling to get that from you. So I don't want to keep you long. So you're managing a large team right now. Yeah. So any last thoughts to wrap up for those who are listening or watching, rather?
Yeah, I do. If you're going to go the route that I went initially, which was your one-man show, and you're going to, fund deals, and you're going to be comfortable at that level, just always give 100%, never really give up on anything, and don't waste your time would be something I like to say, because there's only so many minutes in every day that you get to talk to a qualified candidate. A lot of the people that we have as inbound leads, especially at this capacity, a lot of them are not qualified. They're the people that if I send their file to one lender, they're like, oh man, we know this guy very well. He's been submitted 20 times this week, So ultimately, when you're on the phone with someone, or if you're going out there and cultivating on the phone a new relationship with a prospect, try to get the qualifications of that prospect out of the way as early as you possibly can, as far as what they're looking for, how much money they're looking for, what their bank statements look like, which is one of those things that they base their decisions on, since this is a revenue-based industry. Because if you're talking to someone for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then you ask them, how much money were you looking for anyway? Well, $4,000 or $5,000, or they say something astronomical like $400,000. It sounds great. What was your business doing in revenues last year? Last year we did 40,000. It's just so then all of a sudden you realize 25 minutes have passed, and that is a killer. So I would say qualify your candidates as you speak to them. And if you do opt to go the route that I've opted to go, as far as branching and scaling, be patient, be willing to spend a lot of long nights. And remember, this is my baby. My heart and soul is in this. So, I'm watching it grow, and just be patient. You're going to want to do 97 things at once. You're going to come up with some creative ideas for your company. Calm it down, take priorities in your hand, and also delegate responsibility and leverage the team members and things like that, because you can trust them. If you train them, you can trust them to do things as good as you, if not better than you. So, that's pretty much my advice to anyone. Just stay the course, and that's it. That's really all I can say.
Yeah, stay the course, automate, rinse and repeat, right?
Automation is such a crucial piece of this puzzle, because if I had to sit here and manage all the incoming applications all the way through from beginning to end, and then audit them and make sure everything is there that I need, or they didn't miss a signature spot, man, I'd lose every follicle I had left up top, and then I'd literally the business would just slow down and implode, if not, because I wouldn't have enough time in the day, and I'd lose my mind. And I don't want anyone to do that. So offload, leverage, automate, and just stay the course, because this is such an amazing industry to partake in. It seems to be relatively new still in regards to other industries. Yeah. It's relatively unknown to some people. And if you can offer multiple products to your customers, opposed to just a virtual cash advance, where you say, you need a truck, well, maybe we can offer you equipment financing. If you have an equipment financing partner, you may fill someone's need way better than getting them a truck with a cash advance for $60,000, where they're going to pay back such a high amount of money in a short period of time. They may opt to say, wait, you can do equipment financing? and we can with certain FICO scores as low as 500 and 500 pretty much, and also in a 6-year term or a 3-year term, and they look at you like, holy crap, this guy, so be a consultant, listen to the customers and give them what they want, opposed to trying to force a square into like a circle, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And plus, you can't really be a consultant if you only have one product, right? Because you're pushing that product. If that's all you have, well, becoming a consultant becomes, realistic when you have an arsenal of products that you can offer them. Hey, my professional opinion is you should go with this. But if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, and then that's when you kind of cross the border of being unethical. Because you don't have much of a choice left. Either you're going to let that deal go and not make money, or push it knowing that it's not going to work for them anyways, right? Many people in this industry make that mistake. That's why we're dealing with the problems that with some of the people in the industry who see this as, oh, I'm a loan shark anyways. They even bring themselves down, which is really not the case, which amazes me, right? Just like you said, this is to me almost a brand new industry. I know it's not technically, but almost is. Because many people are doing it wrong. You're not there pushing merchant cash advance. If you listen to someone attentively, like that's what you did all day long, right? So you ask questions, because one thing that we know, we don't know how much of that we have left this time. You can't just freely just give it out to everyone, because you don't know what's happening. At the end of the day, you feel like you've done some busy work, but it wasn't productive. Wouldn't you agree?
That's exactly right. Yeah, motion and activity doesn't equate to production. I mean, you can take those calls from those folks that are looking for 4,000, or the guys that submit their files across the whole country, and you can take 25 minutes with them because they're interested and they're receptive. But go and fight for something that's harder. And to your point, I mean, the merchant cash advance industry as a whole, I mean, this whole alternative financing thing is relatively new, but as far as I'm concerned, you agree. So I think more likely, and most times in this industry, people kind of get lazy. Any merchant cash advance company I even have been familiar with, including the one that I actually worked for, it was just must be a cash advance client, and don't spend so much time sending a nice email. Don't spend so much time making it a fillable PDF. You're putting too much time into it. Just send them that hard copy, let them print and fill it out. I just kept thinking of more and more things that I could implement that are just unheard of, like a DocuSign package for these guys. They're on the road, so we have a subscription to that, which makes part of our selling point is, hey, this is the easiest process because you can complete a DocuSign package on your phone. And also in the DocuSign package, we allow you to attach the required driver identification, the required bank statements, the required everything into your package. And when you complete it, it comes right to me. Now, when it gets to me, it's already fully, everything that we need and require is in there, included in the package. Just little things like that to make things easier. But it took a lot of time, it took money, it took effort, it takes creativity to design it. But ultimately, if this is my baby and this is something that I'm going to cultivate, I'm going to give it the best I can from the very bottom, starting point to all the way through. And my name's on it again at the end of the day. So we want our company to carry integrity and a certain, feel in this industry. And so far, we've gotten there with the lenders. We've been invited to 2 of the banks, conferences from a few different lenders. We were invited to Miami. I think it was last weekend. There was one earlier October. I just forget where that was. I don't remember. I think it was in California. We were invited. We just haven't had time to do that. But we will be getting out there. And these lenders are inviting us to these because of the production that we've done with their specific companies. So we're building that rapport.
It's going to get more and more attractive. Again, Lawrence, it's been a pleasure to see you again, buddy. You're always an inspiration. So we'll definitely stay in touch. Maybe we'll do a volume 3 in a couple of months and see where you are in your organization. Maybe we should do it at the office so you can get to know the team and things like that. So I think that would be awesome. But again, I'm definitely thankful for your time, and I'm sure people will appreciate seeing your face again.
I'm happy that you have me. I'm happy to be speaking with you guys again. I look forward to the next time, and just stay in contact. I look forward to staying in contact with you guys. Thank you.
All right, Lawrence. Take care, buddy.